Alright, welcome to this episode of my cloning of the green poison mothers. I had early on bragged about how efficient and nice this hydroponic cloning system is. And it is, I'm not complaining. I've had good luck with it all the way up until this point. However, there seems to be a little bit of issue with what's going on in here. So let's take a look. First of all, as you can see, I got some yellowing of the leaves, which sometimes is normal for a process like this. This is just meaning that they're a little bit deficient on nutrients and that they're trying to get their food from the leaves to make the roots grow. Unfortunately, then this has been about a week and 2 days now since this has been going. But I wanted you to try to take note here. Unfortunately, right along branches is a thick slimy substance, which is definitely not good for these clones. See? So what I'm gonna have to do today is completely change out the water in my hydroponic tank. And with that's gonna come a procedure which I'm trying for my very first time, and I'm hoping that I have success. Alright. So, to begin with, we want to get all the film and slimy residue off of the stems. So all I'm going to do is grab a piece of dry paper towel and lightly blot the stems. Almost like you're drying them. Just lightly putting on some pressure here, not very much, revealing my 45-degree angles that I cut on the end of each of the stems. Okay, I've got quite a bit of the blotting done. I may have to come back and do a little bit more here. Alright, so what I'm going to do is actually set these girls aside here for just a minute. What I have to do is completely disconnect the power to my hydroponic tank here. And for one, maybe you'll be able to hear me a little bit better. For two, like I said, need to change out the tank. This isn't normal to have this kind of slimy growth on the roots. So, things that we'll need to prepare in order to get the green poison clones treated is, all I have here is a bottle, a little bit of distilled water, a cup, an empty cup, some hydrogen peroxide, and a 1 tablespoon measuring cup. Or I'm sorry, measuring spoon. So what we're going to do, we are going to go ahead and take a little bit of the distilled water that I showed you, and we're going to pour it into this cup here. What you want to do is leave a little bit of room at the top of the cup. If you can see through the light there, you can see that I left a little bit of room in the top of the cup. Now what we're going to do is add 2 tablespoons of hydrogen peroxide. And hopefully, from what I'm understanding from learning from others, is that this solution of water and hydrogen peroxide should help alleviate some of the slime issue that we have going on here. Just pluck the plugs out of here. I'm going to have to clean out the plugs too. So I'm just going to release the clone. Give it a nice little dabble again just to make sure we have all that loose matter off, the slime. We're going to stick it into our cup, the one that we have with the water and hydrogen peroxide. You want to repeat the process. I have 6 clones here, so it'll depend on how many clones you have altogether. But I have 6. Here's one that's a little bit more yellow than the other one. It's got a good stem on it. Just wiping away some of the extra slime, plunking it in my cup. So moving some of the green mats that has grown on these babies since I first started cloning them. I guess anybody can make a mistake like this. This is my probably 3rd or 4th time cloning, and I've had good luck with it since I started it up until this point, like I was saying. Not entirely sure what we're doing as far as why the slime is growing on these, but what we're going to do is do a complete thorough cleaning on it, the tank itself, and the sponges holding the stems in place, and then we'll go from there. So now I've taken all my sponges, gotta wash those off, sterilize them. Same thing with the rest of the tank here. I'm just going to take my cup of clones so that they don't spill and place it down here just a little bit out of camera's view. Alright, so I'm going to take a short little break and disconnect my hydroponic system, and we'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. I have just assembled my hydroponics cloning tank, and as you can see, I'm now here at the kitchen sink with all of the components that run it, other than the bubbler and the electrical parts. I'm here also with some hydrogen peroxide. This is going to help to clean the tank. As you can see maybe down in the corners here, I'll try to get a view without the shadows from the lighting. There's some buildup of slimy mildew. I don't know, it's not mildew, but slimy kind of substance. So what I have to do is just like washing dishes. I have to take out all the components. As you can see, this sort of lifts up, and I can take out the components then and clean everything off and really give it a good sterilization, and hopefully that'll help with the situation with the slime on our stems, because we're going to start out with new everything today. Alright, well, since I only have 2 hands and need them both to go ahead and clean this thing up, I'm going to go for now, but I will be back and we'll continue on with this process. Thank you. Alrighty, welcome back. As you can see, I now have my clean hydroponic system. I just got done cleaning it with hot water and hydrogen peroxide, and hopefully that'll help remove some of the gunk and mildew that have been built up on the inside of the tank. So let me get started here. As you can see, I've been letting my clone sit in this water hydrogen peroxide solution. That's to help with the mildew that was built up along the bottom of these stems. Or I shouldn't say mildew, that's not the right word. I should say slime. Slime that was built up. So now all I'm going to do is go ahead and start replacing and putting in all of my new clones back into the clean sponges that I have over here. Again, clean with hydrogen peroxide. So I'm just going to set this down here so that it doesn't spill. And we'll take all of our sponges and place the lid right here on top. Make sure it's snapped into place. So here we have clone number 1 again. Again, it's a little yellow, somewhat regular when you're cloning in a hydroponic system like this and waiting for the roots to start. As you can see, I have a nice 90-degree cut on the end of my stem here, and that's going to aid in helping it grow. One other thing I also wanted to mention before we even get started is that I'm going to again be using the cloning gel, recloning these out. It's Life Cloning Gel by RX, and nothing really super special about it except that it's a handy gel. Take the lid off that. Make sure we have access to the gel. And then I'm just going to start and make sure that I get my stem situated in the cloning gel here so that it covers all of the bottom of the stem. And I'm just going to place it in my circular cube here. And make sure that none of the green is inside the water. You see here, you got all your little green foliage and stuff. You don't want that to be in the water. So I just placed my cube right above or right below that. Again, we got the cloning gel in here, and I'm just going to plug it in right here in the corner. Alright, the same thing with this one here. Just going to wipe the bottom off a little bit. Make sure that I got all the slime off of it. And stick it in the cloning gel. And inside one of the cubes. We're just going to continue along here until we get all 6 clones back into their plugs and into the water. And then after that we'll take a pH reading and they should be all set. So let's go ahead and get those 6 ready. Alright, here we are again. All 6 of our clones are now firmly snugged into their habitat. Now that we have them in, I am going to go ahead and add something I mentioned in my previous video. But I'm going to go ahead and add some General Hydroponics Rapid Start to the mix, as I want to give these guys a little boost, and hopefully we'll start seeing roots within the next 5 to 7 days. So all I'm going to do is open the lid up again. And what I've done with the rapid start that I just showed you here is I've put in 1 milliliter into a syringe, and I'm just going to go ahead and just squirt it into the tank here. And we'll stir it up. Again, I had to go ahead and clean this tank out completely by restarting with fresh RO or reverse osmosis water. You can pick that up at any local grocery store for about 88 cents a gallon. Okay, now that we've got that all mixed up, I'm going to go ahead and take a pH reading here. Again, with my Lucky Stone pH testing stick. It has a digital readout on it, so we'll just go ahead and submerge it in there. And we want the reading to come out to about 5.7, and right now we're at 6.9. So we'll have to go ahead and add some pH down to the tank in order to alleviate some of that pH. Okay, I put about 10 drops or so inside the tank. Hopefully I didn't overdo it this time. We'll give it a stir. Along with the bubbles, using a stir stick kind of helps to get everything mixed up a little bit here. And again, we'll do our pH testing. We want to be at 5.7. Right now it's reading at about 5.7, 5.6. This will go up a little bit on its own over time, so I'm not going to add any more pH up or down to it. Just call it good at 5.67. So there you have it. We just went through the process of cleaning out our tank and pHing the water again. I hope that you learned a valuable lesson in this documentary, and I know I did. Always make sure that your cloning materials are completely clean and sterilized with hydrogen peroxide and sometimes even rubbing alcohol. We'll go ahead and get these babies back in the water here now. And I'll just give them a little mix of some food here. Primarily water mixed with a little bit of diamond nectar, flora nectar, or I'm sorry, flora blend, and water. Since they feed through their leaves, leave them like that. And again, because it's close up, I'm not going to show it on video, but I have a dome that I put over here. You're just going to want to squirt it with water and make sure that everything goes over the top here without touching any of the leaves on the side. And yeah, we'll go from there. We'll check back on these guys within just a few days here, and we'll see how they're doing. I check up on them every day, of course, to make sure the pH is alright, but hopefully there won't be any drastic changes now that I've given them fresh, clean water and something to eat. Thank you for watching this episode, and please subscribe, like, and share. Thank you for following, and have a great day.